We're just over half a year away from the presidential election in the United States. Donald Trump is, of course, the frontrunner for the Republican Party nomination to challenge President Joe Biden. Well, Trump is the first former president to be criminally prosecuted, and he faces an important week during which the outcome of various legal cases could determine what, if any, immunity he has as a former president. Well, this in turn will affect his chances at the ballot box in November. Well, for more, I'm joined by our international affairs commentator, Doug Herbert. Doug, welcome to the programme. A busy week for Mr. Trump and his lawyers. Let's start by talking about what's happening at the Supreme Court.
Yeah, it is a busy week, and we do keep talking about Trump's legal jeopardy. It's a little bit like the boy who cried wolf. This really is a week of big goings-on. One commentator called it, Trump's schedule this week, a litigious hellscape. And why? Well, first of all, let's start with the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court right now yesterday, the Trump and his lawyers filed a ruling basically trying to overturn a ruling by an appeals court, a lower court, saying that Trump essentially is not immune from prosecution for his efforts to subvert, that is, to overturn the results of the 2020 election. Trump and his lawyers are appealing that, saying that that would be a violation of justice and voters' rights. And the Supreme Court has to now consider this case. And the first question is, will they issue what Trump and his lawyers are asking for, which is a pause in that ruling, which is essentially freeze the case? It's already been frozen, but keep it frozen. That's called a stay. Now, if the court were to issue that stay, it would postpone the trial perhaps for months, maybe not, if not indefinitely, until after the election. If they don't issue the stay, or if they reject the claim entirely, reject Trump's demands entirely, it would be punted right back to a U.S. district court, where the case would presumably be set to resume. It would be given a green light, essentially, to go forward. And that could happen as early as this spring. And the timetable here is crucial, because if it starts this spring, it could actually get the wheels of a criminal trial in motion relatively quickly, before the real heat of the campaign this summer with the Republican conventions. What happens is the jeopardy arises if Trump does sort of win, or at least get the Supreme Court to dither, to tarry a little bit in this case, in acting quickly as Trump's as the prosecutors would like. If they don't act quickly, it could punt the ball down the field a lot. And that's exactly what Trump's strategy has been: to hem, to haw, to postpone, to try to make sure these cases, if and when they ever happen, don't happen until after a 2024 election. Presumably, if Trump then were to win, he would be able to basically drop all the charges against himself and stop those cases in their tracks.
Okay, so the Supreme Court is one key focus for Donald Trump's lawyers. Talk us through some of the other places where they're going to be busy this week.
There's a bunch of other criminal trials and in courts right now. Yesterday, we actually had Trump making an unexpected appearance in a Florida courthouse. That was a case involving a federal case, again, criminal case, involving classified documents and the allegations that Trump hoarded top secret files at his Mar-a-Lago country estate after he left office. And he's also then obstructing efforts by federal authorities to try to retrieve those documents. That's a big case. It's been on hold as well. So far right now, the judge in that case, the prosecutors believe, has been sort of shown sympathy to Trump, and they fear that case is one that could be delayed indefinitely. On Thursday, we're going to have a pretrial hearing in the case that was the sort of original one that we all heard about, Trump's alleged $130,000 payment to a porn star, Stormy Daniels, in order to essentially buy her silence about an adulterous affair that the two allegedly had in the closing weeks of the 2016 campaign. It's possible that Stormy Daniels herself, she says she will testify at that trial, but that will have a hearing this Thursday. A trial date had tentatively been set for March 25th. Trump is going to try to have those charges, that case, thrown out as well or delayed. Also Thursday, case in Georgia, Fulton County, Georgia. That is on charges that Trump tried to overturn the results of the 2020 election in that state. The problem here is that the district attorney who's prosecuting the case, Fani Willis, she's admitted to having a romantic relationship with the special prosecutor, one of the special prosecutors in the case, and that admission has now led Trump to file basically an appeal saying that those prosecutors should be thrown off the case. If there's going to be a hearing in that case Thursday, if the judge throws those prosecutors off the case, that would obviously punt the ball down, postpone the case even more. And finally, on Friday, we're going to have a judge in New York releasing his ruling about Trump's punishment in a civil fraud trial that's involving his empire, his business in New York State that could see him, if convicted, of having to pay hundreds of millions in fines and also being severed from his New York State business empire. A lot of legal jeopardy ahead, not just at the Supreme Court, but on all levels.